Okay, I'm getting ready to stencil this piece. I've already done this on a piece of earthenware. You can kind of see what it's going to look like. So when we do it, we start with our light color and then work towards the dark color. Now on this particular piece, I'm not going to have anything around the edge like I did on this flat tile, but the butterfly will look the same. Okay, so let's get started on that. So I'm using some stencil brushes. They're a softer stencil brush. These will be available um, in a few months, not right away. Okay. And I forgot to get some paper towel. So you need some paper towel because we are going to stencil this on just like you would do traditional stenciling uh, with your acrylic paints or whatever you use, non-fired. Okay. But we are going to use it with the fired color. So we're using color concentrates. I have out here Aqua Splash LE003, 160 Key Lime, 161 Green Leaf, and 162 Laurel. And then we will use some CC101 Cobalt Black. Alright, so I'm using the brushes that I used earlier. So I'm going to start with the Aqua Splash, and I'm rubbing it out onto a paper towel. And right now I'm trying to get more of the aqua back in it because I ended with the lighter blue. Okay, this is going to be on the outside, coming in at least a half an inch or so. Okay, so we're going to use a circular motion, and I'm working on top of Stoneware 04 bisque. Light touch, so just back and forth. I mean, not back and forth, but circular motion. You can go the other direction also, and then kind of pounce that in and then rotate it off onto the paper towel. So start with very little in your brush. Less is more. Okay, so what I'm doing is just trying to get these to look even with where I've got it on the other side. Okay, then I'm going to go to the 160, and I'm going to keep with the same brush and just work. Get this where you can see it. I guess I don't need this under here. The other piece was greenware. Alright, so I'm just working that 160 into the brush. And I'm going to start on top of where the 160 is. So let's do the side camera also so you can see from the side. Okay, so I'm going to overlap those two lightly because you've got really fine, this particular stencil has really fine pieces, so you don't want to move them too much. You can go right over the body. I'm just kind of anchoring with my finger so that it stays in place. On the greenware, it tended to grab to the wear, so the stencil doesn't move as much as it is on the bisque here, so just be careful. Okay, now I'm going to go to the 61, which is a little bit darker green. Load it a couple of times, get that worked into the brush. Overlap, but come in further, and you can do the whole body. You want to go over that area a couple of times. You can always lift the edge to check your application. Just make sure you anchor it so that nothing moves on you. I'm going to do one more load with that 161 green leaf. I'm going to start from the center and kind of come out a little bit. And then I'm going to kind of feather. So I'm just sweeping up into some of those elongated areas. And it'll almost look like fine lines when we're done. Okay, so then we want the body, the antenna, to be the darker. See if I still got enough of this. Doesn't take much. It's pretty dark color. So I'm going to start in the middle. Get that antennae, the body, and then kind of feather out from there. I'm going to get some more of the green. This is a strong color, so it doesn't take much. Yeah, I was thinking about changing brushes, but I think this one will work. Since we want to keep it, you know, to the middle, we don't want too large of a brush. Feather out. Okay, let's anchor. Looks pretty good. And then I did add a little tiny touch of black. You can kind of see where it shadowed it a little bit. And I'm going to go this other, let's see what's in this one. This one's got black and blue already in it. So actually it's going to be, oh, I remember what I did. I took the stubby brush, the Colors for Earth stubby brush, and let's get some black out. And I did not wet this brush, neither one of them. Load with the black and then really wipe off the excess. And then you can kind of almost do the same motion with it, but then you can kind of rub it up and down and into those antennae. So what I did was I taped around my stencil so that I could control exactly where I wanted the design. Okay, let's go back just to the overhead. All right, so that you can see that. I do want to make sure. There we go. I seen an area that didn't have some green. Okay, the big reveal. Okay, not too bad. I'll let some of these areas dry and then I'll clean up. You know, the nice thing is about this being 04 bisque, I can take, this is the L3 diamond core tool, and I can gently scrape anything off. So there might have been just a little hole that I didn't have covered. And then like here, switch to that larger end. So on the greenware, it doesn't seem, the color and the stencils seems to stick better. So if you had your mid-range clay in greenware, you could do this. So I'm going to let this dry and then I'll scratch that one out too, just to make sure I've got a nice clean line on some of those. And then I'll show you some strokes on there. Okay, so now I'm going to take the 3600 number 2 liner and some of the cobalt black, thin it down slightly with some water, get that into the hairs of the brush, make sure there's no water on the ferrule, which is the silver part of the brush. And now I'm going to add strokes to this just like I did on that other piece. So we're going to press, pull, lift, 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 lift. So the more pressure, a brush stroke is color, pressure, and motion. So if I put more pressure on it, it's going to be thicker, less pressure, thinner. So I'm just going to accent and kind of sort of add an outline to finish this off. I'm going to make this one just a little thicker and higher there. And it just completely changes the way this looks and gives it a more rounded look to the outer edge. Now, do you have to do this? Absolutely not. Your choice. Practice on paper. Trying to think. About halfway or so. Just whatever you do on one side, do the same thing on the other side. See that? How you? And then we're going to pull one up from the bottom. Press, pull, lift, lift, lift. Let's do the side camera again. Okay. Oops. Press, pull, lift, 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 lift. I didn't have quite enough on there to get that little tail. I'm going to thin down some more black. You only thin one little corner at a time because it's just going to evaporate. There's no reason to thin the whole petal at all. Okay, so I'm going to do thick and thin. So thin, thick, thin. All right, then we're going to come down the top. Kind of ran out. Go over on the other side. Do the same thing. And then we'll start from the center and come out on the inside. Thick, thin. Okay, then I want to add some little pressure strokes up on the antennae. So I'm going to just sit it, press, and lift straight up. Press and lift straight up. And do the same thing here on the head. Press, lift straight up. And let's put one on the tail. And then I had some on the inside of the body here. So just to kind of tie some of the black in so that it doesn't look so strong. And then you can come in and you can add some dots if you want. Rinse that brush out, check it on the paper towel to make sure you've got everything out of it. And then I'm going to use, this is a tool that we carry. It's a small wipeout tool. It's the RD11 is the code on the website. And I'm going to go over and grab some of the black on the end of it. And up here in this particular triangle pattern, and every time you load whatever tool you're using, if you load it for every single dot, you will have the same size dot. You should have. This one I didn't have as much on me. Tip. Okay, then I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So every time, so I didn't load for each one. I'm doing what's called graduated dots now. That is when you load and you just keep going. The less you have on your tool, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As you're going, you have less on there. The first one is larger, and then each one after that graduates and is smaller. Okay. Let's go back overhead. Clean that tool off. What do you think? Kind of cool. So then I'm going to add some brush strokes on the edge. Where's my pencil? So this has got a dip where this flares out. So I need to figure out if I can do it up here on the lip or if that's going to be too much for it. A good thing to do is to test it with just water, clean water that is, and find out, you know, if you put that stroke there, can you do it? Which I think I can. And I want to use, I'm going to use the Aqua Splash. Get rid of that. I like Aqua Splash. So you can press, pull, and lift. And I'm going to do all the strokes. This is the number 2, or excuse me, this is the number 0, 3600. I thought I had the, oh, you know what, I grabbed the wrong one. I want the number 2. Number 2 round, the 5000. Number 2. Wet your brush, blot it. It's just a little bit shorter, and it is more rounded. See, that way when you're in the motion of going one direction, it makes it easier to continuously do that. And then I can turn and go back the other direction. So press, pull, and lift to a point. Let's do the side camera again so you can see the amount of pressure that I put down. And you're not going to be able to see. Let's do just the side camera for a minute. Okay. So press, pull, and lift to a point. 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 Yep, sometimes you got to say it to yourself. Press, pull, and lift to a point. You'd be amazed how that helps you do something. Press, pull, and lift. Press, pull, and lift. All right. Let's go back overhead. Isn't that pretty? Back off the camera just a little bit. There you go. Now we can come back in and we can add other strokes. We use greens. I could pull some curly cues. We could splatter also. You could splatter with maybe one of the greens. But you can see the difference between that one and this one. This one is in earthenware greenware. And I've added the florals. This has got a lip on it, so I can't do that. You could always stamp in there if you had a little stamp that you wanted to do. You could do that. Or I'm not sure that I feel like I can. I don't think I can do some curls on there. I think it would. I might be able to nestle another color underneath this. We could take the 161 leaf green and just make a smaller stroke. Now, we're not going to do that on, there's different point, in, out. Started to think I messed up. Less pressure, smaller stroke. Same brush. You could add some dots. We could add dots and it would almost look like a flower. Or sometimes I just build it as I go. I'm thinking a flower there, like a blue. Go into, we used aqua. We could do the cerulean like I had on the other. These would be kind of like leaves. Okay, so let's add some other strokes on here. And I'm going to use the 151 cerulean blue. I'm still using that number 2 round. And I'm going to do a comma stroke coming in, and another one from the side, and another one from the side. So it makes it kind of like a faux tulip. And that's only on the ones with the point. Press, pull, and lift. Press, pull, and lift. Press, pull, and lift. Okay. And like I said, you could splatter it if you wanted to. If I were going to splatter it, I'd probably cover most of the butterfly and take a paper towel and just cover it and then splatter the rest of it. And I might do that with the aqua. And then it would have something, a little bit of a speck, so to speak, in the background. Okay? Okay, I am going to splatter this. I put some paper towels around so that I don't get this all over everything. I am going to use the Aqua Splash. It's pretty thin, but if for some reason yours is thick, you can thin it with water. I'm just going to put it on an old toothbrush. And let me get another piece of paper towel and show you what I'm going to do. So just with your fingernail, pull back and you can see the little splatters. Okay, and I've protected the majority of the butterfly with paper towel. You can see it goes quite a long ways. Okay, it just gives it, I'll bring you in, I'll rinse my finger real quick because I got paint all over me. Let's come in and look at it closer. And I'll take these off. Okay, so you can kind of see, it looks like you've got a speckled glaze, but it's just the splattering. And that way it didn't change any of our detail on the butterfly itself. Okay? Alright guys, I hope you like the project. Love to see what yours looks like when you do one. Be sure and tag me. And happy painting.